Hey everybody, welcome to the Tobin Gregory Group channel podcast, wherever you're consuming this media. We're glad you're here. This will be our first video, so just to capture what we're going to talk about here, we're going to do a little bit of mortgage related stuff, probably some sports banter back and forth. Leave your comments on that because we do enjoy that, and talk about some fun stuff and maybe some other housing related stuff, that kind of thing. But we want to make sure whatever we bring you guys and gals is actionable. You can actually use. This isn't going to be boring. We're definitely not boring type of people. So I think you guys will see that. But Craig Tobin's here with me, Jake Gregory, and we hope you guys enjoy our podcast. Craig, anything to chat about before we jump into some details here?
No, just really excited to start talking to people about interesting stuff. You watch a lot of podcasts and a lot of people, and sometimes you're just falling asleep while listening to it, and it's, nice evening, go to bed kind of stuff. But we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about things that people want to hear about, and probably some sports things that people don't want to hear about, but we're going to do it.
Well, you can already see the Dallas Cowboys logo in the back if you're actually viewing this and not just hearing it. So, that's
Yeah.
going to start.
Why don't we
Uh,
talk a little bit about interest rates?
Yeah, absolutely. I think being the first podcast and with the Fed announcement coming up tomorrow, that's a great place to start because in the mortgage industry, when we talk to individuals about loans, that is the main thing everybody wants to know, right? So we're gonna start a timer, 5 minutes, because we don't want to drag this stuff out. So I'm gonna put a 5 minute timer on my phone. We'll start and we'll be done by the time that 5 minutes is up. So Craig, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, the biggest thing on everyone's mind when it comes to interest rates is when are they going down? And interest rates, historically, they go up, they go down. Will we ever see rates again in the twos and threes? Maybe, maybe not. But I think the most important thing that people need to realize when it comes to interest rates is that when you look at an interest rate and whether you have a good interest rate, there's always going to be a better interest rate. It's a matter of, does the rate work for you? Is the buying power you have with that interest rate good enough to get it done? When the rates come down and everyone's anticipating the interest rates to come down tomorrow and over the course of the next month or two leading up to the election, the important thing is that when the rates come down, everyone gets back in the game. And what that helps do is drive prices of homes up and people bidding on homes. Now you're in a war with 10 other people. Whereas right now, where the rates are there, you can only have maybe one other person in that competition. So I think the biggest mistake people make when it comes to rates is they wait till it goes down. And what happens is you end up being in a worse position than you are now. Right now, where the rates are, you can buy a home. People are still buying homes right now. And the best part about it is then when the rates come down, you're in control of if you want to refinance because there's no longer that competition when it comes to buying a home. Now it's just a matter of when do I refinance. So I think that's very important when it comes to talking about interest rates because you will never get the lowest interest rate ever. Normally you get the highest. So you have to be comfortable with the payment where the rate is now and then worry about everything else as the economy goes.
Perfect, man. We have about 3 minutes left, so I want to add to that because awesome information. And I think that's where people get interest rate blind, like you're speaking about, where I got to get the lowest rate. I got to get the lowest rate. Some of the points you made there are the housing market right now is it's still a seller's market, right? There are less homes for sale than there are buyers, but the more buyers that enter market, like you're saying, the more competition you're going to have and the higher you're going to have to bid to get that home that you want, right? If you can go buy that house now, the prices are such where you're going to get the best deal on the home. Rates may be a little higher than they are over the next 12 months, but when you buy that home at the best price you can get it and rates start to drop, you're getting the best of both worlds. You can get the home at the best price you can today, and then we can refinance to get that payment as low as possible in the future, as long as you're comfortable, qualifying there. One of the things, we got about 2 minutes left. One of the things, quick hit here, I want to bring to our audience is the way rates work, right? The Fed has a large control, like we'll see tomorrow with the decrease of rates, and lenders have already taken some of that into account so that they're not pricing themselves out against competition. However, when the Fed announces tomorrow that rates will likely drop, we're going to see a little bit of a decrease. Here's what you're going to see if you're currently in the market. They may say they're decreasing rates by 0.5%. probably not likely. Most economists believe it's going to be a 0.25%. You're not going to see a full 0.25% decrease because lenders have already hedged against that. So you might see an eighth of a percent better on your rate or something in between 0 to that 0.25%. The way the Fed manipulates interest rates across credit cards, across cars, across mortgages, wherever interest rates apply, when the economy is doing poorly, the Fed will typically decrease rates so people spend more money and keep the economy moving forward. When the economy is doing really well, that's when you'll see the Fed increase interest rates so they recoup some of that money they've been giving away for free. Because when the Fed backs an interest rate or puts interest rates out there, they're typically backing that loan to some extent for these creditors extending rates. So if you want a great view on the economy that's not biased, if rates are decreasing, typically the economy is not doing so hot, right? If the rates are increasing, typically it's a hot economy. People are spending money. So it's a great gauge to understand how rates work. As another note, last week, reporting came out that showed we had the lowest rates heading into this week for 1.5 years. So if you are someone that's considering the rates and knowing what Craig just spoke about with the markets being able to get a home more easily than when rates do start really dropping, we have better rates now than we've had for a year and a half. So if you're considering it, it's time to start a conversation. Craig, we got 20 seconds on rates, man.
Yeah, what I was going to say is there are certain people where the interest rates don't matter. Those are the people that are getting $240 million contracts to play football for 4 years, like Dak Prescott. Can we talk about Dak Prescott? And wow. So first of all, everyone loves this guy. He's a sleep number bag guy. He's star quarterback of America's team, which I know people love to hear about. I've been a fan for quite a long time. I'm not even going to tell you how many years this is. But what I will say is that when you make that much money and the rates don't really matter because you're paying cash for a home, that's fine. Do what you want. Uh, but most of our viewers are not in that. Obviously, they wouldn't be watching us on a podcast if they were. But look, what I'll say is the Dallas Cowboys, look out. It's this year or it's never. They're all in. They got Micah Parsons, who's going to sign a big deal soon. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in the NFL. I know you're a Bills fan, and so you actually have had a really tough time these last, 40, 50, 60 years. So for the other Bills fans out there, look, you have plenty of hope. Just because your top receiver left, no big deal. Josh Allen is still a superstar quarterback. They call him Superman. He tries to put the whole team on his shoulders, and I love quarterbacks that go out there and are not afraid to get hit. He goes out there, puts his body first, and he's a football player.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your Buffalo Bills this year, Jake.
Well, that's why I like him. First, I played quarterback in high school and in college, so I'm more of like a quarterback follower, not necessarily tied to teams. I just like quarterbacks that play well. We'll talk quickly about the first game of the season that we just saw 2 Mondays ago, or I'm sorry, 2 Thursdays ago. Was that right? Yeah, 2 Thursdays ago. Tonight they play, so hopefully it could be a tough game. We're going up against another decent team. I like Josh because it was kind of my style. I'm not afraid to run it, and what happens, happens. If you got to get across the first down line and nobody's open, you go, right? Uh, for me, gosh, we can't make it past the first round of the playoffs. I think the Super Bowl would have been a heck of a lot better last year if the Bills were in it, and it would have been much more of a competition, I believe, with the caliber of play. I'm not too concerned about losing our star wide receiver because we did pick up some good trades as well for more people to target for Josh Allen. So I think it'd be a good season. He just has to show up and stay healthy. Whenever you run a football as a quarterback, I know he's a big boy, but there's also other big players on the other side of that line. So you don't want to start taking the hits. You don't need to until you get to the time where you got to make playoffs and are in playoffs. So it's needed sometimes, but man, if it's a blowout game or you're up 3 scores, don't take the hits. Just finish the game, get to the next game, and then get the next W. So for me, it's I love seeing it. I love seeing Josh Allen stiff arm people and all that, but we gotta be smart.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I mean, he's not your prototypical NFL quarterback anymore. Usually people as tall and as big as him are pocket passers, but he's someone that's willing to go outside the pocket and make it happen. There's a few quarterbacks like that now, and the running quarterback is a different style. You have Jaden Daniels, you have Caleb Williams, people like that who are now in the NFL. And they got to be, very careful about taking the big hit as well. Uh,
Here's
what
something mortgage related that I think is so crazy and funny, right? And football and mortgage related. Brock Purdy, I love the kid. I love that kind of story because third string quarterback, he comes in, he takes people to the playoffs, he plays well. He's got a great team around him. That's something else we could talk about too. But the poor guy doesn't even make enough money as a starting NFL quarterback to buy a home in San Francisco. He's got to rent. And on top of that, he's got to rent with a lineman. He couldn't even afford rent for himself in San Francisco. So he had to partner up with an NFL lineman so they could afford rent and they're living together in San Francisco. How insane is that?
are you saying we should put a GoFundMe page for Brock Purdy to buy a home?
He's not going to be, I'm sure the sponsorships are kicking in now, but year one, as a starting NFL quarterback in the city he lived in, he couldn't afford rent by himself. That's
Well, I mean, Brandon Ayuk got paid, so maybe he can help, assist with the gift money for the
oh
down payment
yeah,
for Brock
down
Purdy.
payment. Call us, Brock.
He's making plenty of money now, and he wants that quarterback to throw him the ball so Ayuk can keep dropping
Mhm.
passes when he's diving for him.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
have your own
absolutely.
home, you can study film a lot more easily. You don't have the distractions of other teammates in the house doing whatever they're doing.
Look, I have no problem, and honestly, I'd love to see San Fran lose because as a Cowboy fan, they've kind of got our
Uh-huh.
goat a bunch
A
of
little bit
times.
of a rivalry.
Yeah, a little bit, the catch and all that other crap,
Mhm.
but poor things, CMC or run CMC or Christian McCaffrey, whatever you want to call that guy, he's superhuman and he's going to miss a second game, it looks like. So
Yeah.
hopefully somebody can beat this team early and make them feel the pain. I really hate George Kittle too, but that's another story.
Can't hate that guy. He's so look. Let's talk really quick about renting because I know we talked about rates and then this Brock Purdy thing and how he can't afford rent.
Yeah,
There's an astounding report out there right now that the average American, so this is anyone in America that buys a home, spends on average $330,000 over their life in rent before they become a homeowner.
that's insane.
It's
That
wild.
that's a statistic that if people are not paying attention, they need to rewind and listen to. It's okay to rent in the beginning, but if you want to start building generational wealth for your family, what you need to do is get quickly out of renting into purchasing, because not only is it going to be a tax break for you every year, but you're going to build equity in a home and it's something tangible. I'm not saying don't invest in the stock market, but the one thing about real estate is when you buy something, you own that eventually if you pay the property taxes. Uh, but you will always have something that you can live in and build. Average homes go up about 6% a year in value right now. So even if you're buying a home that's three or $400,000, why not build an extra 20 to 30 grand a year in equity in a home on top of the payments? When you look at the principal you're paying down, you're gonna create an extra quarter of a million to a half a million dollars in wealth over those next 10 to 15 years. And that's something you could pass down to your family. So, renting is a means to an end, but certainly don't throw $300,000 away renting. Make it a point to where you get your credit in order. That'll be another topic for another day for us to discuss. But I have a feeling we're almost end of time,
Yeah, we're
and
coming up
it's
on 15
almost
minutes.
time.
That's
Yeah,
promise.
I mean, so we also have the football game is tonight. So Miami and Buffalo. Of course, Mostert screw me and my fantasy team. He's not playing tonight. A
We got
Chain
two
might not
defenders
be
out too against
playing.
all that speed, so it's scary.
And also we may need a GoFundMe page to get Tyreek Hill out of jail next time too. That guy's got to slow the hell down.
He just had
Um,
knee surgery, man. He just had knee surgery.
I mean, come on, policemen, we understand you're doing your job and we appreciate that more than anything.
Mhm.
Just make sure it's not one of my fantasy people going, I don't have Tyreek Hill, so if you need to arrest him, go right ahead.
Sorry, buddy. You can bail him out. You got this. You got this.
I got
All
him.
right. So, hey, guys, to wrap up on our podcast, we always want to bring value. We're not going to bore you with who we are, what we do, et cetera. You can look us up, call us, message us, whatever you want to do to find out more about Craig and I. I can say we're passionate about what we do. And if we can make home ownership work for you, we will, hands down. We'll fight tooth and nail to get you into a home. Couple things that we want to provide value with. If this is a first video that we're doing in a series, as Craig said, credit will come down the line, home equity, all kinds of topics we'll have. Leave us comments about what's important to you guys and what you want to hear. We'll make it fun, and we want to get you the information you can use, and that's important to you. On top of that, a couple tools we have. If you're thinking about homeownership, you want to see the equity, you're paying rent, we have tools that can show you what your wealth will be with homeownership in your markets versus rent and paying rent. So we have specific tools in our industry we can use for that. Down below, you'll see some links to some cool items as far as home equity. Think about Credit Karma for homeownership, right? We're going to have a tool coming very soon for everyone that allows you to track your credit, track your wealth, track your home value, and it's a very Credit Karma style app for wealth and for homeownership that Craig and I are going to provide to everybody out there. So look below this for our contact information, any tools we want to provide for free, no cost for our viewers that you guys can take advantage in. And we are here to help any way we can and make it fun too. If you guys want to, not the Bills, because we all feel sorry for the Bills, but anybody who wants to take a shot at Craig for the Cowboys, feel free. He'll enjoy it. He might respond.
On that note, look, everyone, thanks for paying some attention to us on a Thursday, and hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And we will see you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.